dynamic was incredible in regards to the men that I had around me were great, absolutely priceless. I'll probably never be able to.
We're saying like post 16.
That's men's. That's first team men's.
Yeah,
men's. Okay.
Yeah, that was men's football, non-league, semi-pro.
Wow.
That was great. The players, fantastic, coachable. The coaching team that were around me, basically, fantastic. But how many times have I said this loads of times? How many times do I get called a physio? Because they'll just assume that I'm not a coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll walk in. Oh yeah, so the physio room is on the left, and I'm like, I'll let him know when he gets here, but that's not me. So, do you know what I mean? That happens all the time, and obviously it doesn't happen when I'm coaching my girls. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't happen then. They don't assume I'm the physio then. They're going to assume that you're a manager or a coach because it's a girls' team. But if you're in a men's team now, or last year I was coaching Wharton and Hersham under 18s boys.
Yeah.
I got called a physio nearly every week. We had a joke. Do you remember the time that the referee assumed I was something else? Somebody assumed I was a ref. And I was like, I've upgraded like from a physio to a ref. But it's like, you'll be anything but a coach.
Oh, man. So it's that stereotypical sort of stance that I'm presuming it's men.
Yeah, of course, it's always men,
So when you say, I'm not the physio, or do you say that? And if you do say that, do they kind of apologise, or are they...
Yeah, I will say I'm not the physio. Or that time that I had that comment about, the physio room's on the second door on the left or whatever, and I was like, okay, I'll just let the physio know when he gets here.
Are they embarrassed? Or...
Yeah, there's a little bit of like, oh, so who are you then? The really bright ones will say like, are you a mum or a sister or something? Or like, are you someone's parent? No.
And they can see you in like full like training.
I'm in kit with my initials. Like, do you know what I mean? But the object, you've got to be something else. So there is a little bit of embarrassment or a little bit of like, so what are you then if you're not the physio? I know one manager said to me last season, my boys were top of the league at one point. Well, they were top of the league for most of the season, but they were top of the league at one point, and the guy said to me, so there's a female behind this mastermind then. That's because you're at the top of the league, there's a female behind this. And I said, maybe that's why we're top of the league. Maybe you need a female's touch in your backroom staff.
When would you say, sorry to cut you off, when would you say you started like noticing and like really like paying attention to it all?
When I was coaching boys. Okay. The second time, actually, because... Do you know what? When I was coaching with Brian, and I was coaching under 16s, I used to notice subtle stuff. It wasn't as obvious. It was because we were in grassroots, maybe. So I would notice things like I just wouldn't be acknowledged at all. So other opposition managers would like shake Brian's hand, speak to Brian. It was almost like I wasn't there. Obviously, Brian would do his best to make sure like I'm introduced, but when you're running around sometimes, it's like you haven't really got time to keep doing all of that. So there's that. That was when I first noticed that was subtle. And then when I was actually the manager of an under 18s team now, then it was obvious. Then it's like, then you're getting called the physio. Then the real comments start coming out.
That's why when we were working together, I made sure like the players that we were working with at the time when we were doing under 16s, like Sean is assistant coach, she's going to deliver some sessions as well. We've planned it together, we built it together, all of this stuff. And even there was times where, and when you're working in grassroots, sometimes you need a liner. I was like, nah, Sean, you can't do it. Do you know what I mean? The reason, just I don't want this, she's just there to support and just run up and down. I was like, nah. If anything, if there isn't a ref or an extra linesman or a parent that's not willing to help, I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what, and players can look up to you on the side.
Because you already know the challenges that are going to come with that, and that the challenges that you're going to face and it's obviously good that you've spotted that and you've tried to, I won't say nip it in the bud, but almost protect her from it.
No, I think you have to. I think the moment, I think when I first met Sean, I had never met like a female who was as interested in football like guys. I was like, wow, this is and you want to coach? So I'm going to immediately, especially because at the time I was sort of like on my trajectory, just finished my level 2, or I think I was on my level 2 and all of that stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, come, like let's work together and let's share brain cells and all of this stuff. So and then the rest was like kind of history. Do you know what I mean? So I was making sure like encouraging her to like find your feet and you do it, or you have your moment. If you feel like you've got a coaching point, express yourself, all of this stuff. So, and then, just keep building on.
And you've just kind of, would you say you've just started coaching?
Yeah, so I've been coaching probably say going on to about 2 years, but obviously in that time COVID has played a massive part. So in the sense of physical coaching, probably 6 months to a year. But I can relate to some of the things that you've shared. I used to coach at a boys team as well. I won't put names out there, but it was just the whole safeguarding element. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a womanly touch or part of womanly features in the sense of worried about how their bodies are developing, their mental state and injuries, and trying to give them the stretches and show them the stretches. But I think with the guys that were heading this team in particular, they were very of a more militant way of coaching. So it's like, he's a big man, why are you talking to him like that? Or he'll learn, and the way they spoke to the boys as well, which then sort of degraded me in a sense, because where I was more emotional is probably the wrong word,
nurturing.
but where I could more, I'd build a rapport with the boys rather than just solely base everything on their technicality. Like, obviously when you do your coaching, you learn there's more to the game than your technicality. So, but they were solely focused because of, I guess, how a lot of, especially like Tottenham and Ajax, a lot of their player development is based on more technicality rather than anything else. So yeah, no, it's definitely something where I've experienced myself in my little time of coaching.
And would you say that not any confidence, but did it make you like step back and like analyze it a bit more? So a bit like what I was asking you, you know, did you notice it straight away? And what did you do when you noticed it?
I think it was difficult for me because of the stage of my coaching I was at. So I was still fresh with the course and how they teach certain things. So trying to apply it in your first proper professional encounter was difficult, because I did notice it straight away. And it's like the fundamentals of what the FA teach, there was none of that with their personal philosophy or their team philosophy. So it then became a thing whereby, was I contradicting what I was taught and the way I believed things were right to suit the team? Or do I now stand up and address certain issues of which I maybe thought weren't correct or could have been done better? And when I actually found the courage to do so, I was made a scapegoat. Nothing was really followed up as much. It more became a personal thing. This is done out of spite.
No, I can relate. This is getting me hot.
And
getting me mad.
I went to the league, I went to the FA, and even the way in which, sorry, not the FA, but the association, so I think it was London FA. And within a week, I must have given him about 10 to 15 different points where implemented safeguarding. In the sense, it may have even touched on grooming and child exploitation, in the sense of fees and stuff. And within a week or two, everything that I put myself forward for was disregarded. So I took more pressure in putting myself forward and got nothing out of it. And more importantly, I don't believe the children will get much out of it, because they're still going to operate in the same manner. But then I lost my position, my income also was paused, and it's like, where do you go next? And football is a very small world. So it's, especially in that men's game, like, forgive me, but men can be as I don't want to use the word, but like gossipy, do you know what I mean? As much as women.
Definitely.
She's a girl, she's a woman, she stands out already. So talking about me is like, I'm going to be known for something that I'm not before I've even been able to develop myself as something that I am. So it's hard out there.
I think the thing is that I think like us women hate to admit it, but the truth is that if we're going to do well in football, we actually need the support of men. We don't want to admit it, but we do. And I think the problem is that as women, we'll stick together all day long in the footballing world. In the footballing world, we'll stick together all day long. But how many Brians are there?
That's what I was thinking,
how many times have you been in an environment and you've got someone that's going to protect you, be there? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Make sure that you're not running the line. Make sure that you're not doing that. Yeah. You don't get a lot of guys that are willing to actually support you like that.
That's what I was going to... Yeah, it's crazy saying that.
It's good to have that forward thinking, because I think if we are to move towards equality, it's not just women that are going to do it. It's like we need you men to stand beside us.
Of course.
And But
it comes, and that comes down to, I mean, just personal attitude, and individual attitude towards, you know, how you treat your fellow person, whether it's a guy or a girl. Do you understand? And I think when it comes to football, I don't know what it is, or when it comes to sport in general, I think all of that just goes out the window, and it's just about, okay, we're trying to win, or we're trying to be the best, and it's like you're forgetting, because you touched on so many things, you know, and so many things fall under what you just spoke about, from neglect, grooming, to all of these major things that we say we stand up for or against, and like I said, it's just completely looked over.
I think one thing, I think one thing as well to throw in there, and I'd hope not to take this left, but it's passion. I think in the men's game especially, football has become a thing whereby it's materialised, it's monetised. Like, especially in the academy world, they treat these little boys like trophies, in the sense of, he's going to make me my next million. Not the fact that, oh my gosh, he's actually a quality player. Let me get the best team for him. Let me make sure he's got the right equipment. Let me make sure he's in the right environments to be seen by the best teams to develop them. Because some of these boys, you can get scouted from as young as 6, 7, 8. A lot of these boys don't know, even girls, they don't know much in the sense of the world out there, but they're valued. There's a price tag sort of put on their head before they're even able to develop into their full potential, whether that's physically, mentally, whatever it might be. And I think that is a partial cause to why we have these problems, because again, women, we care about it. Like, I don't know about you ladies, but we love
that's
football.
parenting as well, though.
Yeah.
I think I was on another interview, like, I don't know, probably like a year ago now, but and we was talking about what you're saying now, and about the fact that parents will look at their son and think, Project Mbappe, let's go. Yeah. 1-to-1s from age 3. Let's go, because we need this bread. Yeah. When your daughter gets a free, are you thinking
Is it the
that?
same?
No. Do you get what I'm saying? No, you're not thinking that. Don't get me wrong. A lot of parents, especially of, like, I'm 27 now, so parents my age, let's say, that are starting to have kids now, they will encourage their daughters to go and play football. But you're not encouraging your daughter to play football because of the money. You're encouraging your daughter to play football because she might like it.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So like, whereas boys now, you're thinking, if my son makes
Tickets,
we're
golden
all
ticket.
gone. Do you know what I mean? We're all gone. Yeah, all of us can go. Whereas and the truth is that, even that's a whole nother thing if you want to talk about equal pay now. When you talk about equal pay now, that's a whole nother umbrella. And unpopular opinion, I don't think that women and men should be paid the same. I don't. I don't think they should be paid the same. I just think they should be paid more. Yeah, I don't think they should be paid the same.
You think, okay, you think women should just be paid more?
They should be paid more. Yeah, I don't think they should be paid the same, because from a business perspective, you don't generate the same amount of income. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't watch a lot of women's football. I don't. I try sometimes, but I don't.
The games are different.
Right. If I'm thinking Saturday, I'm thinking Prem. I'm not thinking to go and watch. However, I have watched women's games. Don't get me wrong, I have. But I watch more men's. Yeah. So business perspective, I understand. It made sense that you're not gonna pay a woman millions of pounds because she doesn't generate millions of pounds. Ronaldo got signed for Juve and sold 1 million shirts in a day. So of course the investment makes sense. You know what I'm trying to say? You're not getting Fitzpatrick on your back. You're not. So I get that. However, the gap is nuts. The gap is way too nuts.
I just know it's, there's always some upheaval, you know, women. I'm not saying women, I'm just saying, like, obviously the whole conversation around women and equal pay and women being paid the same as men, or women, like, even like, you know, the sport being showed on TV. You know,
which is good. It's getting shown on TV now. There's progress and that, but it's like you could have a women. Chess. I know a guy actually that plays for Cheshunt men's first team. Yeah, you don't even get your petrol paid for, do you?
No. No.
There we go.
Let me be careful what I say.
Yeah, not obviously not at, like, to get at the club. Do you know what I mean? But like, it's like that in any club. So the women's won't even get a travel expense. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Not even a little £20 to put on your Oyster card if you don't drive. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The men now, it's bad. It's bad. The men now, you could get a man in a non-league team or whatever that sits on the bench. That sits on the bench and will still get £150 a week for bench woman.
See, I didn't,
week in, week out.
I didn't even know it was this bad.
It's bad. Like it's like the gap is nuts. I'm not trying to say pay me £300 a week. I'm not just trying to say that, but I can get a little petrol or something.
No, it's true.
It's
Because
bad.
even so, we're talking about 10 years ago, and I know things have progressed. But when I was in academy, and it's funny because I done a podcast recently, and I spoke on this, but I was at Arsenal at the time. My hairdresser, my mum's hairdresser, had a son that played for Chelsea. I think he was like under 8s. I was under 16s, and we had to pay like I think £100 towards the season. And then when we went on tour to Germany, we got a coach 4 age groups on a double-decker coach, 8-hour trip, and we had to pay £600 each. These kids under 8s Chelsea, they were getting expenses, petrol. Put up in this hotel and you have to travel from. My mum was checking to Southampton, 5 o'clock in the morning, ready to go.
£600 to go to Dubai.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's 10 years ago, isn't it? And again, that's a whole different topic in itself. And I don't think we've got enough time to go to that one. But I don't know what the progression has been. But as Sean, right? Yeah, as Sean said, like just the gap, like the philosophy is the same. As much as from the business side, I completely understand, and again, I agree with Sean. I don't believe that men and women should be paid the same.
It's that mindset in society, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? How are we ever going to progress? Again, if men are not supporting, the same way you've put so much into the Premier League and the leagues and showing it here, the sponsorship, the putting girls in and women in adverts, like, there needs to be more. The men need to push that a bit more, and then I think that will naturally... It's a trending thing, isn't it? Everything's about clout. The more clout you give someone, the more clout they're going to get from everyone else.
This is it. I tweeted about this yesterday about who was it? Was it the Leeds West Brom game? Yeah. Who passed back to the goalkeeper and it went in?
Sawyers.
Yeah. Let that be a woman. That's going viral, you know. What? That's going. Listen, all if that was a woman, all I will see on Twitter is equal pay. That's what I will see. But the man now, he does it. It's like
gets brushed over.
He gets brushed over.
It's that whole, just that whole equality and fairness. It's like you shouldn't have to ask for to just be treated.
I think it's weird.
Fairly. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's very, very weird. Like, even just based on like, I might have same qualifications, or we might have been on the same course or the same job opportunities, and I'm just still not like we've done exactly the same journey, and I'm just not considered, or I need to wait an extra year or whatever it might be. It does or I might even be more qualified, and then I still have to wait a bit. And I think it's just a bit like, why is it? Sometimes I find it hard to understand like why are people's mentalities like that, and sometimes I think majority of it is up to being how you've been raised. Do you know what I mean? So from parenting and how your like mindset is as well.
And it's the people that run like the FA or UEFA or whatever. They're in charge of this, isn't it? They're in charge of making these rules, but it's like, I don't know, man. Obviously, when we get onto the whole racism part, I've got a lot to say about that.
Yeah. But who is it that came out and said? Somebody came out and said that the FA is like old dinosaurs, basically. Like the guys at the top are just old white dinosaurs, basically. And whoever said that got like scrutinised. It got torn apart for saying that, but it's facts though.
Yeah, they are.
That's it. Because if you imagine, okay, so you see everything that we just felt like just now about it's 100%. It's the women. Imagine being a woman and black.
Yeah, that's
double whammy, basically.
Yeah,
it's long. It's all long.
Do you know what? When men speak up, it kind of gets dealt with. Like it's getting dealt with. But I've seen, what's her name? Is it? I can't remember. Yeah. I mean, she's been through so many trials and tribulations with this whole racism thing, and it's like, why doesn't it get sorted out when it comes to women? Why doesn't it get?
That's a good question. I mean, really and truly, in my opinion, I think. Kick it out, the FA, whoever it is that's fighting these battles basically on behalf of us, they only care about Prem. They don't care about nothing else. They don't care. So like, unless you're top flying Arsenal star, basically, they don't care. So in the women's footballing world, she's a big name, but in the general footballing world, she's a no one. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's why they don't care. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So as far as and I'm not gonna lie, and this is me being honest, trouble or no trouble, in my opinion, I think that the other black female players didn't support any. They left her out. They hung her out to dry.
Weird, man. It's just weird. It's
So
weird.
if somebody like even if obviously there's two sides to every story in it, but if I saw a story on Twitter and I don't know you from nowhere, and I see there's this black coach and she's been racially abused, your first thought should be, right, what's going on over there? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Instead of you thinking, oh, I don't really want to get involved in any of that. Do you know what I mean? Actually, you should be thinking, what's going on? Because that's another black female coach.
And what have your experiences been with racism?
I think I've been a bit lucky in that aspect. I personally haven't felt or been scrutinised for my race, but I think that's because being mixed race is a bit of a weird one, because the black community will remind you that you're half white, but the white communities deem you as black.
I did a podcast with a girl who we spoke about, being mixed, and after it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is you get it from
both ends.
It's crazy.
Yeah, from both sides. So however, that's probably saved me in a way, because no one's ever given me any trouble in that aspect. But I have had, when I was coaching last year, I had one of my players, white Portuguese boy, and he was racially abused on the pitch. I didn't find out until after. I wasn't actually in attendance at the game. I think I was on my level 2. Yeah. So I found out about it after. I was fuming after finding out, obviously, because why did nobody walk off the pitch? Why did no one abandon the game? But I think he just decided to carry on playing, basically. Yeah. And I went to Troy. I went to kick it out. I just DM'd Troy. I went straight to him, yeah. And basically my dad knows him from like back in the day.
What's your dad's name?
My dad's name's Alan, just a random white guy. You're not going to know him, but just random white guy from East London. Yeah, they just know each other somehow. So I did the whole, hi, you know my dad stuff, yeah. And he replied, and he was like, oh yeah, like tell your dad I said hi, and send me an email about what happened. So I did. All now.
For real.
All now.
Nothing happened.
For a response. Nothing happened. And it did go to the local FA, which I think was Kent
County.
I think it was Kent FA. And the whole case was null and void, down to the fact that basically the player that got racially abused, he got told to go back to his country. Yeah, that was actually what he got like told, basically. Go back to your country. He, in his statement, he said it was like a number 3 or something, yeah. But he also said that it was the captain. The captain was wearing a number 6.
Okay.
Based on that little tiny discrepancy, they threw it out. And because the ref, which as far as I'm concerned is not allowed, the ref also said in his statement that he personally, I think he said he didn't hear anything, which is fine, that's facts. But he said that he only felt like my player would have said something like that because of the result. Now, as far as I'm concerned, you're not allowed to put opinions in statements. So that had to have been considered, basically. So that was the end of that, null and void. Yeah.
I do think about that. Sometimes I think, what if there is a racial abuse on the pitch? What is the procedure? Who do I tell? Do we walk off?
You go to the ref.
Will I have the support of my team?
If it happened to you, you go to the ref, tell the ref what's going on, and really, you and your team should walk off. Yeah. If I go to my teammates and I get racially abused and they don't walk off, I'm leaving this whole club.
Do you know, I actually wanted to speak on this point, about walking off the pitch, because you're in a men, women, it doesn't matter to me. You're in a stadium, you've got like 60,000 fans or whatever people in the stadium, and someone throws a banana or calls you something. It might be one of the players, it might be the crowd. Don't you think you have every single right to say, I'm not having this and I'm just going?
Yeah.
100%.
What I don't understand is, when they say, oh, don't worry about it, just beat them with your football and score.
Some things are bigger than football.
And the people saying it, have they experienced it as well? Yeah. Because the thing is as well, like as you said, if you're going to be made a scapegoat or if your team's not going to back you, you got to think England. Let's think of like Raheem Sterling, certain things he's been through. As soon as he had that one, like, so I'm taking it slightly off topic, but like the gun tattoo, he was all in the press for bad reasons because there's the stipulations that they try and put on the person. But then when he overcame those things, like if he would have actually said, you know what, forget this, I'm walking on, would they have scrutinised him, or would they have actually said, you know what, he actually deserved to, like, it made sense for him to do. Now when you look at who supports England, right, well, England is a very multicultural fan base, I guess, but how many are of a certain race or heritage, culture, nurturing, understanding that they're going to say, what's he doing that for? Like, now the team's going to lose. Or what if England gets sanctioned? They care more about the result and England rather than that individual. But then what does he have to deal with?
But like you just said, some things are just bigger than football. Bigger than football.
Even the recent event, like with the PSG game.
Yes,
and then
with the official.
Yeah. But my thing was, like, obviously it's good that all the players from both teams kind of agreed, like, what he said was mad. So if PSG have decided, okay, let's all come off and not play today or whatever it is, then that's fine. But I think how much of a fuss Demba Ba had to make to get the point across over. And he said this, why do you think it's okay to say this? Why do you... I'm thinking, right, like, it should be a kind of a 2-sentence thing, ref, this is what's happening.
Do you know what's crazy? I had a conversation with someone about that whole situation, and, you know, the official said in their language or in their whatever, Negro or whatever
it just means black.
It just means the colour black. But what we need to understand is the word itself, Negro, comes from the word nigger itself. So it's like...
The thing is I think
you're picking up such
that one's a bit tight, you know, because I do obviously I don't speak any other language, but from when I was in school and I remember learning Spanish, so I knew that it means black in their language, However, doesn't there need to be a little bit of mindfulness in regards to other cultures and other countries? So it's like, you know that you're going to be playing a country whereby that word... Is this
from black people, you mean? Or people of colour?
I mean like the team that were... the officials, the official that said that at that time... Did it not think? Is it not? I suppose it's not going to resonate because it's your language, isn't it? But it's probably not going to resonate. Maybe that word doesn't mean what it should mean in this country, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, because it's just a description.
Exactly. Yeah. It's ignorance as well, obviously, because like however they're raised, isn't it? Really, and
he's gone into autopilot. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there's another phrase, word, he could have used, but he's just gone to that word. I'm going to use it. And my confusion was like, look how much we had to do, rage for, like, I think it lasted about like 18-20 minutes until
it did.
Actually everyone's walking down the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? And then they played the next day or something like that.
So you said luckily, like, you haven't experienced any...
Not me.
Personally.
Yeah, not me personally,
But how about you three?
Yeah, not too much. But when I was at quite a high club, I don't want to mention their name, they're in like WSL now.
Most of the clubs that you play for as well, like out in the sticks, so it's not even like South East London.
That's around it.
The man kind of, I heard the coach, mocking how a roadman would speak with one of the players, and he would always refer to me as Rihanna. Oh, Rihanna this, Rihanna. You know, like
it's a little bit. It's the subtle ones. It's the subtle
name,
ones.
like, just because we both have similar skin tone, I'm not Rihanna. I have a name, and
see, that's deep.
It wasn't like
deep. That's deep.
It's just like, come on, have the respect to learn my name. I'm not Rihanna because you're too lazy to think about what my name is.
How did that make you feel? And what did you?
I had to just laugh it off, because otherwise you're not getting picked for the team.
This is it. This is football. Yeah.
Because it wasn't overt. I didn't really know what to say, and
it's that subtle
it's like
racism.
a small bang to your chest, like a little one.
Just a little, just a little jab.
You can carry. Obviously, you can like.
It's true.
But I can carry on.
Yeah.
And then you're just expected to swallow and behave because there's things on the line.
Do you think we should just have like I know what we should have. It's just a zero tolerance policy.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I'm at the zero tolerance stuff now. That's where I am, and I'm at a point where I don't actually care what the repercussions are going to be, and it's reckless. Don't get me wrong, but like some of the situations that I have had or have had to experience or been around, I'm not
You're not for it.
I'm not for it. Yeah, I'm actually not doing it. So and like when I've been pulled up for my tweets left, right, and centre from clubs. Oh, you shouldn't have said this. I don't care anymore. Like I'm tired of caring. I don't care. I'm done caring. And the way I see it is that if you don't like it, release me. Release me.
Yeah,
if I'm speaking out about racism and you don't like it, release me. I'd rather not play ball.
I mean, look how open racist people are, like on Twitter or on GMTV, when you've got someone, that silly lady, I don't even want to say her name, just saying, if my son's got a name like Tyrone, he's not going to get picked for this. It's like open racism. But if you want to call it out, you get blacklisted.
I'm the blacklisted one. No, blacklist me.
My question off the back of that would then be like, how do you deter what is, because as you said, like, being a woman in football is difficult enough, but then being a black woman in football can be perceived to be even harder. So then how do you distinguish what actual discrimination you're facing, if you are facing? Because, like, for example, I've had an experience. Now, for me, I felt it as racism. Again, I played professionally quite a while ago.
Who did you play for?
I was at Arsenal at the age of like 16, but I went for a trial at the age of like 12. And it was a 3-stage trial. I personally believed I smashed it. I had parents coming up to my mum saying, oh yeah, your daughter's definitely going to get in, which sort of blows your head up a bit. And I used to play for a Sunday League team, and one of the girls that played for the Sunday League team with me, she was at the trial for Arsenal, and like, without blowing my own trumpet, with similar position, she didn't have anything on me, is it?
Talk the thing. It's facts. I'm better than you at this thing.
Anything, like physicality, you know what I mean? Like, just check the statistics. Honestly, yeah. So, like, I'm a gooner, innit? So at the time, it was like, Arsenal. And I remember receiving that letter to say I didn't get in yet, and my heart broke, because it's like, when you're getting all of that response, and they to the extent they come up to your parent and say, you know what, definitely, but the whole team for good. So how was I was like 12, so I'm 26, 14 years ago, quick maths, so like 2006-ish times. And but the whole team, blonde hair, blue eyes, for time. Even the England team, like, for a long time. I'm telling you, there's dope, like, young ladies of ethnic minorities out there. But do you get considered for the England role? Are you that poster girl? Do you fit the criteria? So, as I said, my question would be, how do we distinguish? Because maybe that was just personal thought process, because I was the odd one out. But is there subliminal racism there? Is there institutional racism within football? If we're saying the FA is controlled by these same power groups and whatever else, or does it not go down the chain? Clubs as well.
It
does. I think so.
It's very techie.
I think if you have to question, was that racist? It probably was.
Yeah.
I think the fact you even have to question it probably was. But I think that the only way to get around it, in my opinion, is you have to be so loud in your thing that you can't ignore me, if that makes sense. So, like,
I agree.
Let's say someone like Alex Scott did so well because she's so good at what she does. You can't ignore her.
Yeah.
That's it. Now that she's doing punditry, the girl talks sense. So at the end of the day, you actually can't ignore her. You can try, but you can't ignore her. So.
But do you feel, so off of the back of that straight away, do you feel like, so say like Enia Luco, let's take her how she looks and whatever, if she spoke in a way like from East London or from South London with a bit of attitude or slang or whatever, would she now be under or perceived as aggressive? Because a lot of black men get that as well. Like, there's a language within football, how you have to articulate yourself, even down to your accent. Like, some of us have grown up in different environments. Like, we're from the ends, we speak in a certain language.
Exactly.
So then, as a young woman alone, to speak a certain way, your man them or your this, what makes me that? But then to be a black woman on top of that, she's aggressive, she's this, she's that. So it's like a lose-lose situation.
I think we got to load that one. We got to load it, because, like, I was watching the Rio Ferdinand and Mo Gilligan interview.
Oh, yeah.
That interview is absolutely sick. And Rio ain't really holding back. You can tell Rio's from Peckham. You can't. He's not hiding anymore. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He's from the ends, and you know he's from the ends. He's not hiding. Yeah, but
That's so funny.
Rio's achieved everything. Yeah.
English, like
He's done
But
everything.
it's like he had to talk the language, didn't he? He had to fit in into that environment, or else you get labelled. But I'm on what you're on, you know. I'm on like
I don't care anymore.
Yeah, man, it's long.
I don't care. And you know what? I
because the
feel free.
systematic racism has been of course, man. The systematic racism has been there. Everything's been there. Everything's been stacked up against us for the longest. So right now, in this day and age, where people are becoming a lot more conscious, and open and awake, like just did it. It's just long.
I just feel free.
Charles, sorry.
Go on.
Have you ever? You said you don't care if you're released, or clubs have said you shouldn't be speaking like that or saying having your opinion.
Yeah.
So have clubs ever released you or
not actually
reprimanded you or?
No. But maybe it's because I'm doing the greasy stuff.
Exactly.
That might be why. Yeah, but no, I haven't actually ever been released. I've been pulled up, as in like you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
In regards to the race stuff, but I don't care. That's like I actually don't care. I tweeted right in the middle of all that Black Lives Matter stuff, especially because the blackout day was my birthday. So my birthday was a bit weird because it was like all the black community was feeling a bit like there was a bit of a black cloud over that day, and it was a very strange, surreal kind of day. And I didn't want it to feel like that. It's my birthday. I'm trying to live my life. So I didn't want it to feel like that. So I tweeted, by all means, tell me what you think about this tweet. I didn't think it was that bad, in my opinion. But I tweeted and said, I don't want this to be a black versus white thing. I said that I know a lot of white people that are very good people. Yeah. Some of you white people are mad, but some of you are actually like normal thinking, lovely people. As well? Yeah.
Some of you white people
are mad.
So I'm just trying to...
Mad. The word mad is actually not what I said. I said something worse than that, but we're on a podcast right now. Okay. But that's basically what I was trying to say, yeah? Some of you white people are mad, but some of you lot are cool. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And there's no issue, and I don't want it to be a black versus white campaign when we need to actually like come together, basically. Yeah. I got called out for that tweet by my club. Oh, if the shoe was on the other foot and a white person said that about a black person, it'll be a problem. And my response was, but you lot have been saying that though. White people have been saying that, so what's new?
It's mad though. But
yeah, so I was like, listen.
It's like, what don't they understand? Like, we didn't put you guys through slavery and all that.
Yeah, like, this is what I'm trying to say.
It's just, it doesn't, I don't get it. I don't
care. So I just said I don't care. And then my answer was, release me. If you don't like what I've said, release me. If you want me to delete the tweet, release me. That's what you're going to have to do. And then my new manager phoned me and said, no, we're not going to do any of that. Basically, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Yeah, and the truth is...
How long ago was that whole saga?
Only in the summer.
In the summer. Oh, okay. So current.
Okay. Yeah. But then my manager and stuff was cool. Like, they was like, yeah, it's fine. And the thing is that that's not even me like doing the big headed stuff. Like, you're not going to release me. Like, not like that, because I worked hard for that position. When I first came to the club, I was riding the bench every week, so I worked hard to get my first pick position basically, and to be the first. And that's what you got to do, man. You just got to like speak your truth and speak the truth as well. Yeah, and I'm not compromising my morals. I'm not doing that. That's nonsense to me. Have you experienced any more racism directly through football?
Other to what I said, not really, but I'm on the same sort of thing as what Sean said, and I just want to touch on that as well, in the sense that, like, I feel like it's difficult because obviously, I don't know, my family's westernized, isn't it? So it's weird, like, my mum and that in the 70s, I believe, like, they grew up in Barking. My mum was like the only black child in her whole secondary school. Like, so what she faced with racism is completely different to what I believe we face as racism today. But however, I also feel racism is an individual thing. It's like, in a sense, as you said, not all white people are racist. Not all black people are not racist or even racist as well. Plus, there's all the other ethnic minorities. I think there's so many contributing factors, but again, it's being made out like it's a black and white thing. It's being made like it's a new thing. And I feel for all the attention it is getting, it's allowing it to get bigger than what it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's like the news and what they put out there. I feel like people take on what they're exposed to, what they see. Everyone's got an opinion about what is brought to their knowledge. But if it's not to their knowledge, then how can they have an opinion on something? So, yeah. But in regards to your question, apart from the Arsenal situation, I don't think I have. Really? Yeah.
It's that education, that re-education, because you mentioned something earlier about how you asked the question. You said, how can we kind of like tackle it? And I think it's down to us as a community, society, to re-educate our younger generation, because when you spoke about those young football players, growing up, when do they know racism is racism? Do you understand? Or so it's down to that education.
Do you know what? I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, yeah, and I'm gonna challenge that a little bit. Only because I don't think it's the younger generation that needs to be taught. It's our generation. It's us and older, because they're the ones that are teaching them. If that makes sense. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, racism is taught. You don't wake up racist.
No, what I mean, sorry to cut you off. What I mean is, I totally agree with you. I'm saying just cut them off.
Cut them out, yeah. They're a waste of time now.
It's a waste of time. Yeah. Like, because I'm listening to people who, in their generation, for example, in their generation, they weren't listening to when certain things were being said. And I'm the younger generation, and you're not clocking what someone in your time was saying, but I am. So I'm just saying, cut them all off.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, the thing is that I think if you have okay, this is going to sound random, yeah, but I'm going to ask you directly because I feel like you might be able to relate. But are both your parents black? Have you got a white parent?
Yeah, one white parent.
One white parent, okay. So when you've got do you have a relationship with your white side of the family?
Yeah.
Cool. So my white side of the family, and my dad in particular, has taught me so much in regards to why white people are racist. Basically, because because my dad is black youth activist, yeah. So he loves young black people, and he is just here for black rights, basically.
Yeah.
But his parents were racist. So it's not his parents, his grandparents were racist, yeah? So he was taught it as well, and he had to break the cycle somewhere. Do you know what I mean? At some point, he had to be this ain't normal. This isn't right. Yeah. And I hear I know that there was one time I was at a game and a referee referred to another coach as coloured, yeah? Now, we know this referee very well, and I still see him all the time now, and honestly, that ref is lovely. So when he said that, I thought, are you all right, mate? So I said to him, come on, you can't be saying stuff like that out loud, bruv. You can't. And then he was genuinely what did I say? And I said to him, you called him coloured. And he was and do you know what he said to me? He was I called him coloured to not offend him. Because when he was growing up, he was always taught, that was the polite term. Yeah, and I'm trying to say to him, right, you're 60 something, let's have a little education moment. Do you know what I mean? That term needs to go in the bin.
That's why you say, we need to educate.
Yeah, it's them, because then he's got to be, I don't know, he's got to be at least pushing 60 now at least, yeah? So he's got kids, grandkids, do you know what I mean? What are you telling them? So it's actually them that need the conversation, because it's them that don't, it's them that don't get it. My dad said to me things when he was growing up, he grew up in Walthamstow, all of his friends are black, and he used to say things he just used to watch all of his friends get searched when he was younger. And he'll stand there as the only white guy. He's got their weed, he's got everything in his pockets, in his trousers. And he's because I know they're not going to search me. They're not going to search me. I used to watch my friends get searched, and I'm sitting there with all the paraphernalia. I've got everything on me, because I know they're not going to search me. And he was that's how bad it was back in the day. From then, it was times like that he knew this ain't right. This ain't normal. Yeah, and now, essentially, as a white man, he's getting away with murder.
So how do we deal with it within football? How do you reckon?
I think my personal opinion is, I think I do a lot of listening. Do you know what I mean? I listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of TV when people speak about it.
Yeah.
And I take everything on board. And I think my, similar to kind of what Ria Ferdinand could have said on the podcast with Mo, is just, for now, it's just, you have to do everything to be successful. So, for example, go and get your qualifications, coach. Go do your best to achieve above and beyond, and just win. So when we was at Tooting, I used to say to the guys, we have no choice but to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have no choice for our warm up to be immaculate, because now we're in these positions of power. Now we can influence other people, fans, all of that. People are coming to us the game, you know. And
he's missed a minor detail here. The coaching staff was all black. That's why he's saying that.
Yeah, so yeah,
so
basically,
it was an all black coaching team.
So I was like, we have no choice but to be successful. Obviously, because number one, I'm like 27, and now to be a first team manager at that age is a bit like wow. But I'm like, okay, but we need to make sure that everything is on point. So there's nothing that no one can say.
Of
Do you know
course,
what I mean? Essentially, even when I first got the role, I had a Zoom meeting with the players. Like, we're gonna have a code of conduct. There's gonna be no discrimination.
Yeah.
Any issues? And it's just a quick one. And if there was, then see you later, really. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think it's just about like when we get to those opportunities and those chances of those positions, we need to be ready to excel and be. If we do, I've never personally been like racially abused or anything like that, but we need to make sure that we have kind of systems in place for ourselves to make sure that actually that's not allowed here. Even from down to like grassroots clubs, every grassroots club should have their own kind of code of conduct and in regarding like racism, discrimination, all of that stuff.
Do you think the whole Kick It Out campaign bracelet, do you think it works?
No, listen, don't even get me started on that nonsense. No, it doesn't work. It works if you're rich, or it doesn't work. Is there a Kick It Out for grassroots football?
No. Just put the t-shirt on. Just put the t-shirt.
It's rubbish, nonsense. It doesn't work. It works if you're loaded with money. Otherwise, no, it doesn't work. There is not a grassroots version of Kick It Out.
Yeah.
Nonsense. No, it doesn't work. Something needs to change.
That's why, like I said, like we have to have our own kind of processes in place. You know what I mean, obviously, a lot of like grassroots clubs, South London, North London, wherever you're from, a lot of the coaches might be black or might have been like ethnic minority or whatever it is. We need just to make sure that we've got our things in place. So no one, even like if there was like a white Portuguese kid in my team and he felt like he's protected as well. Like no one should have to go through these things. Do you understand? So. And then when we are in those, like I said from the beginning, these positions, we have to do well. So then the next opportunity can come through, and then when you are successful, people see like when you win a game of football and you're a manager or a player, if you scored a hat trick or if I got the 3 points, colour goes out the window. Do you know what I mean? So like, so that's why I'm like, it's important when we play first or second, we have to win. Or I remember we had after a game one time, I think we won. Me and my mentor and a few of us went to a pub one time, and he just asked me like, "How do you feel?" And I was like, "No, we have to win. There's no other really much other choice. We have to be successful
because you want to use that, isn't it?
Because you want to use that. Because then, like, if Rio's had did another one of these and said X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I've got like 6 Premier Leagues, I've got Champions. What now? Do you know what I mean? So I've got X amount of England caps. No one can talk to him. So that's what I think is important, that we always look to achieve above and beyond and just continue to push boundaries and educate ourselves. I don't think we should just like do the wrong and strong stuff all the time.
I think that's a problem though, not to be a negative Nancy, but I think that's the problem.
And I don't like it when we say, oh, we're just throwing our toys out the pram. It's like, no, we're just not having it anymore. So personally, I would just like to see, sorry to like digress a little bit, but I would like to see a lot more professional football players just walk off the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? How do you feel about it personally?
I feel like racism in itself is such a. There's so much perspective you can have on one thing, and I think I can only go off my own personal experience. And I think, off of the back of what you said, to be honest, I don't know how to answer it because I've not really faced it. Like, seeing stuff like that happen would be nice.
I've seen grown men come. Sorry to cut. Grown men come to tears, being racially abused on the pitch, and the players are trying to keep the guy on the pitch. He doesn't want to play. Let him go.
I think it's scenarios like that. I think like your teammates or your players have to support you, have to back you. There's no. I think. Let's say in the Euros, like a racial incident was to happen with the England team. What I would like to see, and Gareth Southgate has done a fantastic job so far, is I would want to see Harry Kane, Jordan Henderson, who have spoke out positively about like we need to change. If I don't know, Sterling felt some type of way or Rashford, we're all going off, regardless of what's at stake, regardless of his points or is that we need to win or the next goal wins the game to qualify for the group. actually, like I said at the beginning, some things are bigger than football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if it meant we have to play the game the next day like PSG did, so be it.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point. That's why I think, similar to how Sean said about we need women need men to support them in coaching journeys and stuff like that. We need white people in some moments. There's some.
No, you do.
These small moments. I could do with your help in this moment to make a big statement for everyone. Do you know what I mean? So, but
I think the thing is that these conversations that we're having now happen in rooms full of black people. They need to happen in rooms full of white people. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. White people are not having this conversation that we're having right now.
That's so true.
As well.
That's so true.
You need to have like two black people.
How many white people sit down and actually care? Care enough to even sit down and say we're going to talk about this.
But I think as well.
Not to say that there aren't white people that don't care.
Yeah. But I think
I don't think any. I think like we've got a friend called Nathan that says it all the time. Yeah. Nobody cares until it happens to you. That's in life. Yeah. Basically, that's just in life. Nobody cares until something happens, until it becomes your personal problem.
Yeah. What do you say, Shaw?
I can.
It's crazy.
But don't you think as well, the players at the top or the people that are in these positions, like they need to do more to set the tone. Like they need 100%. To come together because I think another thing as well is like we always speak about what we don't have rather than what we do have, and there's enough like really good football players that are off a high level that coming together. I believe a lot of things make sense in numbers. Unity is a big thing.
That's what I'm saying,
and for the platforms that they're on, to get more of us up there, to get this story out there, they have to set the tone. Because everything comes down, innit? So I think that's another element to go by as well. That what are those at the top really doing? Like Rashford gone and served food and whatever and got an MBE. Like how much is Raheem? I touch on Raheem Sterling a lot, but how much has he done? Like people don't speak about what happens behind closed doors, what they are doing, and then you as your own individual, you've got your own following, so you don't need the FA, you don't need half of these stuff. Instagram in itself, if you make your own, I don't know what to call it, but like your own organisation full of guys or women or whoever in the football industry at the top that have faced the element of racism and they start their own thing. Maybe they don't have the time, maybe they don't have whatever, but you set the tone. You make a platform for others to then, that maybe do have the time.
It's almost like they're not allowed to. It's almost as
I get that vibe.
Professional players are not allowed to actually speak their mind. They're not allowed. And I don't.
Do you know why that is?
It's almost like a cult. This FA is almost like
facts.
It's like if the moment you come out and you say anything that you shouldn't be saying, it's like, oh, you're just gonna get. It's just so weird. And I just personally feel like if I was in that position, listen, I'll be screaming at the top of my voice.
Like Brian said something to me. He went to the protests. I didn't go, but he went to the protest, and he's like, I'm sure you're not going to mind me saying this, but Brian went to the protest and basically was talking to people and saying like, okay, yeah, this is all sick and that, like talking to white people basically, like, you lot, this is sick that you lot are here, but when you go back to your office and you go back to your respective workplaces, are you still going to have this same energy? Basically, yeah, you're still going to have the same energy, and I respect it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and I think that what you're saying as well. In like, it's the same thing that like every single time I come on one of these podcasts, my club rings me. What are you gonna say? For real? Yeah. Make sure that your opinions are yours, and they're not ours or whatever. Now, every club would do that, bro. Like, as in every club that are linked to a pro club, basically, would do that, And I don't mind it. It's not a problem. Most of it is because they want to protect me, to make sure that I'm not put in a situation where I'm gonna be made to say something nuts, basically. But at the same time, are you worried that I'm going to say something? Do you get what I'm trying to say? That I'm going to say something that now all of a sudden, oh, she shouldn't have said that because now we look like this or now we look like that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So obviously the personal people that are making those phone calls to me are cool. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're all right in it. But the message above that is, are you going to speak about the booing? Are you going to speak about the statement? Are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about that? So it's like, well, what if I do? Do you know what I mean? What if I do talk about it? Are you worried about what I'm going to say? Are you worried that I might call you like racist? Like, what are you worried about? Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
That's what it is, man. And that's literally.
And I think that's the problem, is that no club wants to be deemed as racist, basically. Now, in my opinion, for those that feel racist, that's how you feel, I really just need you to just do it with your chest. Just be racist with your chest, innit? Just say, yep, that's me, that's what I stand for, and then all you racist people can be together in one club, in one corner. So you can just be happy together as a little racist family.
Stop
yeah, but all this, like, if a white person or anybody actually says something mad, turn around and call them a racist, and they're going to be like, oh my god, did you really just call me that? I can't, but no, not me, ever. I would never, I'd say something so crazy. You just did though.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, let's say for example, you know, when we're talking about making a point, basically, yeah. Now, if you're, like, no, not you, you're a man, you little men. If you're playing in a football club, yeah, and there was even a rumour that one of your teammates had raped a girl. Are you...
Oh, we're going straight to that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
points being made. Do you guys say points are being made? Because you don't want to be associated with the R word. You don't want to be associated with that one. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Are you going to be out in the pub after the game with the man that apparently sexually assaulted someone? No. Do you get what I'm saying? You're going to make your point, but you don't have that same energy when it comes to race. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You don't have that same energy, because now, all of a sudden, just because you're racist, people are not going to think I am though. But rape though, someone's going to start questioning some things. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? You don't have that same energy, and I don't think that one should, say, be more important
of course not.
than the other.